What if I told you that Charli XCX just gave me the best business advice that I've heard all year? I think it might have been the 1 year anniversary of the BRAT remix album. I saw Charli XCX's post about it and she basically said this one line that completely changed the way that I think about business in general. So today I'm breaking down lessons from BRAT that will transform the way that you build your business. It'll help you with brand recognition, it'll help you making more money, and it'll also help you see your business a little bit differently and just have a lot more fun with it. And I think that we could all do with being a little bit more BRAT in our businesses. If you don't know me, hi, my name is Elizabeth and I have built my own personal brand and my own business on LinkedIn over the last 1.5 years, working only from my laptop. And I run my dream business now, and my goal on YouTube is to document that journey and to also talk about all the lessons and everything I'm learning as a young female founder in the world of business. So when Charli XCX talked about the 1 year of BRAT, she said this one line specifically, and I'm going to read it out because the way that she said it was absolutely perfect. She says, "I've always felt that the possibilities of music are infinite. In my mind, a song is never final. It can be morphed and transformed and made into something entirely new and different." And I just think that applies to business 100%. Lesson number 1 is like the remix mindset. Your business is literally never final. And I think that much like how you put songs out into the world, there's probably plenty of like demos and little like versions of your product or business that you would never have put out there in real life. But once it's out there, that it might be finished to a degree, but that doesn't mean it's final, that doesn't mean that it's the end. When it came to the remixes, she actually pulled out all of the different parts of, say, like a song, or whether it was a part of the lyric, or whether it was a part of the tune, or whether it was speeding it up, slowing it down. All of those things were different experimentations with something that was already working. So when she brought out the new album, people were able to gravitate towards the songs that they already liked, but get a fresh and new take on it. And that is so powerful because you're reinvigorating that love for something, and you're also making it more appealing to try, and those people that maybe didn't resonate with the first version might resonate with the second, and then gain some like retrospective love for that first version in the process. In my community, we do a welcome party every time we have new members, and that is such a popular format. We do like breakout rooms, we answer deep questions, and that is essentially like one track of the album of Journey Girls Club, of the female founder community that I run. That little element that people love so much is something that I've now pulled out and remixed and made into something different that I now serve to a different audience, which is business besties speed friending. That is super popular because it's already been validated by the audience, but also because it takes out one key part, basically one lyric or one song out of the album, and remixes it to be different and for a new audience, but still keep that element that people really love. Taking a part of your business and really focusing in on that and creating its own song, creating something new out of that, is so powerful. And it also gives you infinite options to make money. It gives you infinite options to create impact, because the more detailed and specific you can be with all of these little parts of your business, spin them off into different, different genres, different ideas, the more you'll be able to actually monetize those and hit a larger audience at the same time. The next lesson is about collaboration. Working it out on the remix, essentially. There's been a really big lesson here in not only collaborating with the people that you feel comfortable with, not only collaborating with your friends, but also finding people that maybe you look up to, finding people that are in your same niche, that are competition, and finding a way to collaborate with them. So huge when it comes to growth and when it comes to the mindset that you have to actually be able to make it in business. BRAT has been such a huge inspiration for how that is actually possible and the impact that it can make. That sort of collaboration really does change people's perspectives, not only on your business, but also on the associations around your business. And there's always something that you can learn from everyone. If I think about collaborating with the people that I'm, jealous of or that I'm in competition with, it does take a lot of courage, but I think it's something that is important to cultivate and to practice. And every single person that you might collaborate with, in whatever shape that may be, it doesn't have to just be in business, it can be on social media or that sort of thing. They will bring their own tiny little bit of flavour and put their own finesse on something that you do in business, and that can be a massive level up for you if you treat it in the right way and talk about it with pride, because there is enough to go around for everyone. Objectively, everyone benefits from collaborating more and association and that sort of thing. So a bit more of a difficult one to learn, and obviously, like, as you can tell from BRAT, that is not necessarily always the easiest thing to do, but it does help everyone involved. It does make a lot more money for everyone involved as well. So kind of an underrated hack in my opinion. Lesson number 4 is about aesthetic. So obviously we don't need to talk about the visuals of BRAT, like I feel like that's kind of obvious, but it represents how bold you can be in your branding and how recognizable something genuinely can be and how important branding is. I've tried to implement that a lot with my own business, and I genuinely think that how much I've put into branding, having one core colour to my business, has actually helped with recognition. It doesn't necessarily always have to be like a super beautiful colour. What we can really learn from the BRAT green is essentially that it doesn't really matter what colour you go for as long as it's unique. And I think that, you know, when people go for like bright blues or bright reds, like there's so much of that out there. And I mean, even purple, like, I mean, having that recognizable and having it as like a through line through everything you do, every single thing that you do has that color attached. It builds that recognition and it builds that association. That is so, so important. I see a lot of people make this mistake where one part of their brand is this colour and then another part of their offer is this colour. You've got like an orange and a green and a red. How do you expect people to associate the feelings that they have towards you, the trust that they have towards you, and just in general like everything else that they feel about your brand? How are they supposed to transfer that excitement about your brand, that knowledge, that recognition onto something else? And that is where I see a lot of products tank and fail, because they don't carry over that trust in the design. And the way that that evolves should also tell your story. And I am a big believer that Charli XCX did this really well when she started doing her text like backwards, or she started like scribbling through it. So it was an evolution of the visual and it represented something different, but it still had those core recognition features. And that's definitely what I've tried to do with Journey, is that the main brand is the purple, and there's obviously sub-brands and little bits, you know, here and there that have different colours, but they all tie back to that purple. And when I then developed the spin-off of Business Besties, I made sure that it kept that purple vibe, so that whenever someone sees that, they immediately think, oh, that's probably part of Journey Girls Club. So that is something that I plan to do in all of the other things that I'm doing. The girls trip, no comment. And my new digital product that I will be working on, and I'll be documenting the whole process of that coming soon. There has to be an element of purple in there. There has to be a part of my personal brand that reinforces the fact that this is trustworthy and important. And I think that is another really, really big lesson that we can learn from BRAT in general, is like the branding doesn't even have to be good, it just has to be recognizable. The last BRAT business lesson that I've learned throughout all of this is essentially that it's not just about like creating products, but focusing more on how you can build moments, how you can build memories, and just a culture around what your brand means. I remember seeing Charli XCX talk about how she interpreted one of her songs as being like, this is all of the different stages of you being in a club, basically. And that's such a freaking good idea, because that is how you can interpret how your business makes people feel at different stages. How do you want people to feel throughout using your product or service? And how do you make that aligned with who they are, what they want to do on a Friday night, what their hobbies are, how they act, how they dress, how they speak? And being able to align yourself with that and create moments that will resonate with your ideal customer. And how can you reward those people by letting them identify fully with this brand? So here's my challenge to you. I want you to think about what part of your business you keep seeing as final when actually it deserves a remix. Maybe it's your offer that needs evolving, maybe it's your branding that needs like a fresh take and that needs to be more recognizable and standalone. Or maybe you've been like building, but you actually need to do some more collaboration and get more people involved and get some fresh voices in there. Whatever that might be, I just want you to remember that, like Charli said, the opportunities are literally infinite. Your business is meant to transform, and it's meant to come back in lots of new and fresh different ways, as long as you love working on it and it is a representation of who you are. So let me know if any of these have actually helped you see your business differently. And if you enjoyed this video, then definitely hit subscribe, leave me a comment, let me know what you're ready to remix in your own business. And also follow me on LinkedIn if you haven't yet. But I try to share a little bit more unconventional business advice that maybe you've not heard before. So if that's sort of your jam and you're also a young female founder like me, then let's be friends. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.